And Deepa is with us from Sikh Youth. And yeah, poor Britney Spears. Do you know what? It's such a double-edged sword, isn't it? To that fame at that early age. Good morning, Deepa.
It is.
Good morning, Sonia.
And this is Sean Ward, my co-host.
How you doing, Sean?
Yeah, I'm really well, mate. How are you?
I'm good.
Really good to have you join us this morning.
Really
Deepa
is.
Singh, everybody, from Sikh Youth Org UK. And Deepa, what is going on with your organisation and social media?
So there's been censorship going on for a few years. First, it was just like posts being taken down, removed, you know, when you're putting up facts against the state, say, or against genocide happening against our community. Since 2019, our website got removed. In 2020, our Twitter account got taken off. 2021, Facebook pages were removed. And now at the end of 2022, our Instagram was moved. They all had 50,000, 10,000, 80,000 followers on those big pages. So we had a lot of following within the Sikh community. So obviously, demographically in the UK, Sikhs are a minority group, but we have the following was quite massive for our community, if you see what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Why
wow.
do you think this censorship is occurring?
Because we're speaking about genocide. So in 1984, I'm not sure if you're aware or not, Sikhs faced the genocide against the Indian government where they attacked Sri Harmandir Sahib, you would know it as Golden Temple, in 1984. Even into recent years, we even realised that the British government had involvement in that, the SAS. So there was a massive collusion, and that's been ongoing for obviously generations now. We speak up about the genocide, and it's still not recognised as a genocide. If you go that deep in India, we're not even recognised as Sikhs in the Indian constitution. So from a faith perspective, we're not really happy. We continue to raise our voices for all those innocent kids, women and men that died.
And hallelujah to that. Thank you for doing that. So important. And of course, you've been raising up your voice about Jagtar Singh Johal, who has been imprisoned. His brother has been on Rise with us 5 years now, right?
Yeah, 1900 days today.
Wow.
1900 days today. He had a website called Never Forget 1984. And he went to get married in 2017, November the 4th. Him and his wife were walking down, just recently married, a week or two, a bag thrown over his head, kidnapped and thrown in the back of a van.
That was in India,
he was tortured that's in India. He was tortured for days, and now it's 1900 days later. The British government haven't really assisted much. They've just given lip service. The Indian government have tortured him. They they electrocuted him on his sensitive parts on his body, signed blank confessions of him while he was in the torture centres in India.
This is insane. Of course, he's a British national. He's from Dumbarton in Scotland. We need the British government to do more. What is the involvement of MI5 and MI6?
So there was an IPCO report released, and it claims that there was a British national. I'm just going to check my notes here. I just don't want to say nothing because there's a leak going on.
Understood.
There's an IPCO report which anonymized the case study, confirmed with info and intel which was shared, that was resulted in a British national being tortured. So all this evidence, which was said in that report, clearly 99.9% is Jagtar Singh Johal. All the evidence points towards that.
It's shocking to think this is going on, isn't it, Sean, really? I mean, the thing is that, and why aren't we hearing more about Jagtar? Why haven't we got, you know, the left out on the streets demanding his release? This is a political prisoner.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Sorry, Sean.
No, yeah, I've obviously looked into this last night myself, and I'm just, half of me is not surprised that the government is involved and obviously now trying to hide you, but it's the blatant obviousness of it. It's like, if they're shutting down that many accounts, for me, you're on the target. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been doing this the last 2 years.
Right. It's all connected, isn't it? Their activism and situations like what Jagtar is going through. And every Monday I receive an update of Singh issues, and Sikh issues rather, on my email. Perfectly acceptable activism. There is nothing there that makes me go, oh my God, these people are a threat. Not at all. No, there's nothing different to what is released by, in terms of Sikh activism than any other form of activism. Is racism playing a part in this? Is there something else that we're not seeing?
They're just trying to silence the main activists. So whilst that's one evidence, one point I've given, which is the report. In 2018, 5 Sikh activists in the UK were illegally raided looking for evidence for Jagtar Singh Johal. They've took seized property and all sorts of evidence from those properties. One of those properties was mine. So I know that because the very next day, nobody knew in the UK that there was these raids had taken place. The very next day, or even later that evening, the Indian media put out that due to our pressure, diplomatic pressure, there's been raids in the UK looking for evidence on Jagtar Singh Johal. And all of our names were exposed in the Indian media.
Wow.
That must have been really scary to have your place raided. Can you hear me? Did you hear me?
I lost you there for a second.
No worries. I just say it must be really scary to have your place raided.
Yeah, it's obviously it's part of activism. We have to see it now. When you're speaking up against the state, you're going to get state pressure, and it's a different kind of pressure which your average guy would not understand.
No.
Yeah. No.
Exactly, and that's the important thing. So, what is the situation? Is Jagtar now involved in taking the government to court?
So Jagtar's family are pursuing the case here, and they've written to them in August, and they've done legally. So I think there's a case going on, and they have to respond by the end of this month. That's what we've been told. And
the brilliant Reprieve are behind him. Absolutely, they've done some amazing work. So I'm really pleased to see that Reprieve are involved.
They've done some great work. We did some work. We did a protest for Jagtar only recently on his 5 years, which was November the 4th. So we did a protest outside Downing Street. Reprieve speakers were there. Redress speakers were there. Leading human rights lawyer Gareth Pearce, she attended. So it was fantastic to see so much support. His MP was there, Martin Doherty. And this Thursday, this day in Parliament, Martin's brought it up. So there's a backbench conversation happening on Thursday in Parliament regarding Jagtar.
Oh, this is so important. I mean, it's so bizarre in itself because, what seems apparent is that the UK government, or at least the UK minister, has authorised British intelligence, but it is highly likely that Jagtar has been confused with another individual, right?
They've even some of the NGOs that were looking at this ruled out any others. They did check, but they can see clearly it shows all the evidence points towards Jagtar.
I mean, what do you do with that? Because I spoke with his brother, there was no reason to believe that he was guilty at all. So why do you think he would be targeted? So
look, he's a political tool. Yeah. There's trade deals going on with India. Yeah, we all know this. So for those reasons, he's there as bait, isn't he? He's kept there. And another form from India to say to UK Sikhs, stop speaking about what happened in '84. So it's another form of pressure to say, this is what's going to happen. You're not safe even if you've got a red passport.
Right, because he was a human rights activist, wasn't he? He was blogging and he was speaking out. So basically, I mean, this kind of worries me then, because what happened to him could happen to you.
Yeah, could anyone, definitely. And that's why we don't travel. Our lawyers have always told us not to travel ever since those raids. If you look, even the other day, James Cleverly's the Foreign Secretary, and Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister now, they both spoke after this Iranian man's been murdered.
I saw that.
Yeah, but they spoke after. So are they going to do that if that happens to Jagtar? Why don't they pursue something now? and try and pressure the Indian state to get him released and returned.
Absolutely.
We want him returned to the UK.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rishi Sunak said, I am appalled by the execution of British Iranian citizen Alireza Akbari in Iran. This was a callous and cowardly act carried out by a barbaric regime with no respect for the human rights of their own people. My thoughts are with the Alireza's friends and family. And you said, so will Rishi Sunak, this was a tweet, be the prime minister that releases and returns British Sikh human rights activist Jagtar Singh Johal? I take it that the government have not responded in any way.
No, they wouldn't.
What can we do to help?
Raise your voices for Juggy. That's what you can do. There's a hashtag Free Juggy now. Please keep retweeting it. Put it out, spread his voice. He's not the only Sikh activist target. There's Sikh political prisoners from India who raised their voice, who have been in there for 20, 30 years, you know. So he's been in the judicial system for 5 years and they prolonged it and kept him on remand for that without trial. He was meant to have a trial the other day. Witnesses don't turn up. Come on, man. This is like, he's doing what they're doing, giving him a sentence without even sentencing him.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 years. Poor man was only just married. I mean, terrible start to his married life. Absolutely terrible. So we're talking about a situation, a political situation where the man is innocent and he needs to be released, and he needs to be released back to the UK. What's the chances?
Well, we're going to carry on fighting because that's what we do as Sikhs. We're taught to stand up for righteousness from day one. So that's what we're going to do. Speak the truth and stand up for righteousness.
Hallelujah. Deepa, is there anything else you'd like us to know before you leave us this morning?
No, we just like you all to keep supporting. You know, these aren't the only pressure the state have done. Only like a year and a half ago, they were trying to extradite 3 British Sikh nationals from here to India as well. They were called the West Midlands Free. And thank God we put enough community pressure on to get them bailed from here. And they didn't go in the end. We won the case at Westminster. The Indian government withdrew. So, you know, the amount of pressure that we had to do to stop them it's not only Jaggi, they were trying to extradite Sikhs from here. They're illegally raiding us. So much pressure from the Indian state because of this collusion that's going on. And the British people need to know more about this.
So your censorship of your activism has to be linked to all of that, because your only hope is to raise your voice and raise awareness. And if you're being silenced on that front,
definitely. And we know that, but the average person doesn't know that. So it's great to have you give us a platform all the time.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. You are always welcome back on Rise to update us. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Deepa Singh, everybody, from Sikh Youth Org UK. Take good care of yourself. Have a good Monday.
Cheers, mate. Good luck.
Bye.